Hey everyone, Trevor here again, bringing you our next video in our series, First Time Home Sellers. These videos are going to be super invaluable for those of you that have never sold a home before, so you get an inside scoop of what it takes to be successful in this market today. And this is also beneficial for those of you that have not sold a home in a long time. This is going to be like a refresher course and also give you a lot of valuable information to understand the market currently. So if you haven't seen the first video, go back and check it out. In that video, we discussed a lot of great topics, really just an introduction to how selling is different than buying, and then also jumped into some specific topics about things like costs associated with listing, and then also understanding how the agency relationship is a little bit different when it comes to listing a home versus using an agent to buy a home. So without further ado, let's jump into some new material. This video is going to be all about preparing your listing. So the most helpful tip I can give you when it comes to preparing to list your home is start early. You have to start early because there's so much to accomplish and get right in order to make your sale successful. So before you do anything to your home, before you jump into making repairs or upgrades or any of that, my advice to you is start way ahead of time talking to a trusted real estate agent that can help you understand some of the things that are going on in the market and what is most desirable, and even some of the things that you don't need to spend money on, right? Agents see this stuff all the time, so they would be an invaluable asset to you to be able to look at where to spend your money most effectively before you ever start down that route of putting a lot of money into repairs and upgrades. I mentioned this in our last video, but I want to mention it again because it is super important when preparing your listing. I think it's really smart to hire a general inspector before you ever think about listing a home. General inspectors are not expensive. You're talking between $400 and $500 typically, and they are going to look at your house from top to bottom as much as they can see. They're going to give you a valuable insight into what's going on under the hood of your house. Why that's important is because when you list, if you don't know about a lot of the issues that might pop up for a buyer, then you could be surprised by thousands of dollars of concession requests that you may have to just work with because otherwise you got to go back to market and repair those things anyway. So it's so good to go into listing your home with eyes wide open, knowing what the issues might be. If you can't afford to fix them, that's okay. At least you're aware of what's coming and you could head that off. If you can't afford to fix them, then you're just going to remove any concession requests or any kind of leverage a buyer might have over you as a seller, so that you are super prepared to get the highest price possible. In terms of preparing, one of the most important things to know are the costs associated with a listing, right? So before you ever jump into getting your home ready, or before you start kind of jump through the hoops of what it takes to get things ready to list, you need to understand your costs really well. Talking to a good agent ahead of time is going to help you invaluably here. They're going to help you understand what the commission costs are. They're going to help you understand what kind of repair costs you can expect to pay, or at least prepare for, any kind of upgrade costs, those things. So preparing early helps you get a glimpse on exactly what you're going to make. And a great agent will help you make the decision if this is the right time to sell, or if maybe you need to wait a little while so that the costs don't kill your profit too much. Balancing those things out, understanding what it's going to cost ahead of time is super important. Here's another super helpful tip when it comes to preparing. Think about the time in which you're listing. I know that's not at the forefront of most sellers' minds when they think about listing a home. They're just thinking, I have to get it out there and get it sold, right? Well, the time of the year has a lot to do with how well your sale is going to go, right? What season are you listing in? Is it in the dead of winter and it's wet and rainy like it is in North Carolina? That's going to result in less buyers looking at your home at that time. Is it during a school season when you have school in session and so parents aren't able to get out and look at homes as much? That's going to affect how many buyers come and view your home. So looking at the right markets, the right timing is super important to think about before you start prepping your listing and getting it out there. This past year was really unparalleled. The real estate market has never seen anything completely like it. And although there's a lot of buyers out there, there's also the reality that COVID is still a determining force in how well listings are doing. And not to mention all the political turmoil and things that went down last year, it has all affected this market in one way or another. So having great conversations with real estate agents before you start thinking about listing is going to help you have an accurate perception on how well your home can sell and if this time period of the year is the best time to get the highest value for you. My next tip is more just a piece of advice. Pricing is not just guesswork. Pricing is an art. You have to understand so many factors to nail a price, and not just nail it to get the price you want, but nail it to drive the competition you want, right? So in this market, real estate agents are artists when it comes to pricing a house. They look at the market around your home and they're trying to dissect the comparables that have sold, the current activity that's going on, even what's pending and contingent currently in the market, and give you a price that they think will drive the most competition towards your home. And a lot of times that may not mean listing for exactly what you want to get, or even overlisting the price to try to get a higher price. In this market, that may mean underlisting to try to drive a ton of buyers towards your home. I tell buyers all the time when I'm working with them and taking them around homes, if you see the price online, don't assume that is what it's going to sell for. Assume the price is a lie, basically, and trust us to try to figure out where to get you in the competition in order to win in a multiple offer situation. When it comes to you as sellers, you really want to lean on your real estate agent's expertise to help you find a great price point to list at. That may mean not pricing exactly where you want to get it. That may mean pricing a little low because the real estate agent knows you're going to get a lot of competition, and that's ultimately going to give you the highest possible sales price. We often tell sellers that the market is the one that determines the value of your house. It's not an appraiser, it's not you as the seller. It ultimately comes down to what is the market willing to pay. And in this market, we're running into all kinds of crazy competition where buyers are literally paying over asking price, over appraisal price sometimes, just to nab a house off the market because of all the competition out there. So pricing it well is going to get you enough competition that literally the market might pay more than what it's worth, but still, that's what the market pays, so that is what your house is worth. So walk into it with that perception, right? That the market is going to determine value, not your real estate agent, not you. It's ultimately how does the market respond to the pricing and what are they willing to pay. Now that we've got some of your initial preparation complete, like getting a price nailed down, getting your upgrades and your repairs started at least, or maybe already finished, now we step into the more immediate stuff that is done right before you list a home. This is the preparation that is super valuable because it initiates the marketing aspect of your home and gets the public to start to see what's going on with your listing. The first aspect of marketing that I want to submit to you as a great investment for your listing is something we lovingly refer to as staging. A lot of sellers come to me and say, do I really need staging? Does that really make a difference in my home sale price? And the answer is typically yes, actually. Staging, if it's done right, is going to enhance the features of your home, not take away from them. And speaking of taking away, that's a lot of what staging is as well. You're hiring a professional to come into your home to see it from the perspective of a buyer. And maybe a lot of what they do is take things away instead of adding things to your home. What's hard for most sellers to understand, though, is what needs to be taken away. What can stand out in my own, decorations and furniture and stuff that would be helpful, and what needs to be taken away to give the buyer sort of some space to imagine how the home would look like for themselves. And then, of course, a great stager has a huge surplus of items they can add to your home to decorate or accent and bring out new colors and different options and things like that. So we're so proud of our staging team at Lovett Properties. We have in-house staging. We don't have to go and hire someone outside of Lovett Properties to do that. And they are so professional. They've been in this business for years and years and years. They've seen the market change so many times, and they know how to make a house look really, really good. So understand that when you're investing in staging as part of your marketing effort, they really have a keen insight into what is going to make your home sell and what's going to make your pictures and other marketing look fantastic. Of course, pictures are one of the most important marketing aspects of selling a home, right? And again, so proud of our in-house marketing team because we are able to offer super high resolution photos that are taken in a way that accent every part of your house, that open up spaces with wide angle lenses, right? So you can see whole spaces instead of just limited cutouts of spaces. I get asked a lot by sellers now, like, well, I've got an iPhone 12 that has the wide view, picture. Why can't I just take my pictures by myself and save a little bit of money? Well, first, our marketing is not that expensive. So really taking it yourself versus hiring a professional photographer that knows exactly what they're doing and how to accent your spaces better is not really that expensive. But they also know how to capture your space to enhance it the most, right? If you go around with an iPhone trying to capture pictures, yeah, it might look all right, but ultimately a professional real estate photographer can make your home look amazing, capturing all of the elements that buyers really want to see and enhancing your space in a way that sometimes leaves buyers going, wow, that's really impressive. That's what a professional can do for you. Trying to do it yourself a lot of times ends up just looking a little haphazard and non-professional. And that can actually deter buyers from looking at your listing because they start to draw assumptions about the quality of the listing based on the marketing they're seeing. Good marketing equals high quality to a buyer. So it's important to think about the quality you choose when choosing pictures. A new medium that everyone seems to be using now is video for real estate listings. Video is able to give your buyers that are coming to see your house sort of an in-person look at the home before they ever step into the home, right? We do some great coming soon videos that are just marketing efforts really to drive attention towards your listing, but also we can do walkthrough videos of your home that will capture each room and the flow of the space. A lot of times a buyer will just be guessing as to how the space flows because if they're just looking at pictures, they can't really understand how the rooms connect and how hallways look and things like that. Whereas a video can capture that flow throughout a space, gives them a more accurate picture of what your home looks like on the inside and on the outside, and will absolutely help drive a ton of attention and competition towards your listing. Again, our in-house marketing team are video specialists. They are fantastic at what they do and create some really modern, neat content that can enhance your listing to the public. So if you're looking for a marketing suite built into the real estate agency you're using, Lovett Properties has all that and more. Something new that I keep hearing a lot of sellers asking me about is drone footage. Do you guys do drone footage? Well, the answer now is yes, absolutely. I just recently went through a drone course, got my license and everything because I started to see the advantage of having kind of an eye in the sky to see different aspects of certain listings. When you have a beautiful listing that has a huge lot and lots of land to show off around it, what better way to do that than to get up above the listing a little bit so you can see the full scope of how this house sits on the beautiful lot and how it's displayed. And of course, drones just have so many versatile ways of showing off locations, of showing off different aspects of a house, especially if there's a high grade situation. So you don't have to take pictures looking straight up at the house. Instead, you can get up at eye level with it. Drones are the new photographer in real estate. And so we're super excited to be jumping into this and offering you some possibilities of drone photography with your listing. Another awesome new capability are the 3D walkthroughs you might be seeing on some listings. This is typically really beneficial for those larger listings that have a ton of spaces and a ton of walkways in a house. Well, this helps buyers get a feel for how they can move through a home that they can actually control themselves, right? Not depending on a video to show them where things are, but being able to drag and drop and move through a house and see all the spaces with a 3D walkthrough. So this is a new technology that's coming out and it's really exciting. And so look for that on listings that you think it would benefit you to have something where the buyer could actually walk through the house and see every space. So that's it for this short video on preparing your listing. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you gained a lot of insight into what you need to do to really get your listing ready to roll and make the highest possible sales price before you ever go active, right? There's a lot to be done, but hopefully this will help you have an idea of some of the elements that will make you hyper successful in this market. If you like this content, please share it with your friends. Like my YouTube page so I can get some more followers on there. We're gonna keep loading new content in the coming months that talks more about sellers. And then once we're done with this series, we're gonna jump back into talking more about buyers, kind of updating what's going on in this current market. I can't wait to show you some of that, guys. Please stay safe out there in this COVID environment, and I look forward to helping you all learn so much more about listing your home soon.